Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/entitled people. In today's episode, new hire feels entitled to treat support staff like S***T. So I fired him. Best use of my promotion to date. Brother from another mother. Brother from another mother update. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. New hire feels entitled to treat support staff like S***T. So I fired him. Best use of my promotion to date. I'm an attorney, and although I'm young, I'm in a managing position. The firm hired a new, older attorney. Needless to say, he was already having a hard time adjusting to the fact that his boss is 25 years younger than him, but he held it together, except that he was awful with support staff. Paralegals and legal assistants alike. This guy was so entitled that he would accost the senior paralegal, my paralegal, because he should not have to use a legal assistant given his seniority daily and command her to transcribe his notes for him. I overheard him call her girl, and I immediately told him to not do that and reminded him that she doesn't work for him, but if he needs help with something, he should tell me. He continued. Turns out, he is technologically inept. HR forced a meeting to discuss basic tech stuff and we all needed to attend. He fell asleep during the meeting. I called him out during the meeting and told him to go splash water on his face. After the meeting, I asked him WTH? And he basically said that he thought the meeting was for the girls, aka support staff. So long story short, I fired him this morning. He was not happy and felt as though his seniority was not appreciated and that he worked too hard in his life to have to do his own work. He expected to have his own associate to boss around and was disappointed to see he had to respond to me. Ask yourself, if he is so good, why is he looking for a job in his late 60s? I'm taking the girls out for drinks today. Good riddance. As a legal staff member, thank you. No, thank you for supporting us attorneys. Support staff does not get enough kiddos. Not just in the legal field. They are the backbone of business, so treat them with love, patience, and respect. Great work. I worked with a man like that, and he never understood why no one liked him, why he received minimal raises, and never got a promotion. He had served in the army with the boss, so he was exempt from being held accountable, until the boss got fired and he was gone in 90 days. Why did anyone wait 90 days? It should have been 90 minutes. He worked too hard in his life to have to do his own work. He expected to have his own associate to boss around. I'm not usually much one for deserve because life is arbitrary, but every single person who believes this strongly in hierarchy deserves a powerless life. The older I get, currently 57, the younger my managers are. I could not care less. I treat them with respect, make it clear an age gap is no issue, and continue to do my work. Never had a problem. I recall an old sitcom, think it was even set in a lawyer's office. After some sitcom misunderstanding of some sort, the senior partner yelled at all the lawyers something along the lines. "Bah, I can replace you all tomorrow with anyone who passed the bar exam, but do you know where the FedEx office is? How to order business cards? My favorite lunch order? Make up with them, or don't come back tomorrow." Shows you who the most important people in the offices are. Hint, it's not the people with the fancy degrees. I can never understand that, like I am in my 40s, and I once had a receptionist who was 20 years older than I, and she felt that she was more knowledgeable and more qualified to book clients with which therapist. I still cannot fathom how she thought I and the other psychologists couldn't do our jobs. I understand that they want to feel important and needed, but it gets annoying when they get entitled. Support staff can make or break you, the sooner one learns that, the better. My dad was a judge and actually ran into this issue with younger lawyers too. He would eviscerate any who treated the staff poorly, especially with new lawyers. Those clerks know 50 times more about criminal procedure and the law than they do. Brother from another mother. So I, 40F, have this very good friend, a 37M. They're more like family, really. My long-term partner, 45M, is aware of the nature of our relationship and is totally okay with it, being supportive of the decision to let her have the couch temporarily. They are also good friends. The couch is often offered to folk that need a place to sleep, and the term is seldom longer than 2 weeks. The offer to pitch a tent or set up a camper in our large yard is always there as well. We have just one simple rule. You don't get obviously inebriated, drunk, or stoned off illegal substances while here, because I do have 2 children living here 95% of the time. We are 420 friendly but do not drink. Nor do we have a problem with occasional recreational drinking. About 2 weeks ago, A called me very upset. His long-term romantic relationship disintegrated overnight and abruptly, and he needed a place to sleep. Now, we're pretty crowded with 4 people in a 2-bedroom, but we offered our very comfy community couch and a rare bedroom when my children were at their father's house. We laid down our one rule: no getting stupidly/obviously inebriated while here, and that I had up to a month free of rent to find someplace to live. Unfortunately, there's a housing crisis going on, and to get an apartment or even a room you have to constantly apply and have minimum first month rent plus damage deposit ready to go. Which he was doing and had. Well, I met a girl and the shit has hit the fan. Suddenly he's not looking for a place because A is spending all his time and money on her. The woman is also homeless at this time and living in a shelter temporarily. They've been drinking more and more, 5 quarts in 3 days, because she drinks. It's gotten extremely awkward because 4 days ago they tried to have sex. Loudly, on my couch. In a tiny crowded house. I have teenagers who don't need to see or hear uncle _____ drunkenly banging some drunk chick on our couch. I'd set up our huge tent outside for them, which was not a cheap purchase, and even borrowed a camper from a fella we had helped before in case it rained. The tent is now wrecked because they broke a pole and it ripped right through the side of the tent. The camper is already trashed after just 2 nights. The vomit in there yesterday was alarming. Which was why it was locked yesterday. It is my responsibility to clean before returning. Which will be returned today because I'm not going to be on the hook for damages or continue to clean that up. Not even for him. But my security cam shows them stumbling around, in and out of the locked camper before literally diving onto the tent. Not into. On top of. I'm a bit worried about what I'll be cleaning today. This is on top of being woken up multiple times nightly by them stumbling into my house to use the bathroom, falling over, vomiting, and if he pays me for a replacement tent it will be at least another month before he can save enough for an apartment. I certainly can't afford to replace it. And my family is supposed to go camping next weekend. Which has to be cancelled now, as we no longer have a working tent. His vehicle is not legal as he let it lapse because he's too busy drinking and messing with this new woman. So at this point he's also risking losing his vehicle, making his situation and ours worse. I'm furious. She's been here for 5 days with him. He's been here 13. That first week was great. Crowded, but no problems. I'm genuinely happy he's found someone, but at the same time it's extremely frustrating having my home and family disrespected like this daily for some drunken piece of ass by someone who literally calls themselves my brother from another mother. He's also not working because she's always here. Nor is he looking for an apartment or alternate accommodations. And no, we're not getting any rent or compensation. That's not why we offered the couch. It's just an old comfy couch that's been well used by people who needed a temporary safe space. I've known this guy for over 20 years. We've always had this sibling-like bond from day one. Never once did we ever have a problem. Until now. I'm about to lose my shit on him. I shouldn't have to remind someone, a grown-ass man at that, daily that we don't want drunk people here and that this was our only rule for a free place to crash. Why? My kids have watched their addict father struggle with this crap for years. They don't need to see it here too. This is their home and safe space. Which is why it's literally our only rule. I have reminded him that this isn't going to be a permanent place to stay, especially given the drunkenness. And that his time is running out because, again, we can't house him permanently. I worked my ass off and still do because I bought my house over a decade ago to have our own space and so we would not have to deal with drunks and addicts in our former apartment complex, not to deal with drunken people at my home. My family room is also my office and work area, so being a room down isn't easy either. Because you can't be in there with them. I've actually been asked to leave my family room to give them privacy. Once in a while I won't mind. But I've been basically banned from my own workspace for 4 days now. On one hand, I feel like the easy solution is to sit him down and tell him it's time to go. But if I do that, I'm risking losing someone I consider more of a brother than a friend. Especially when he's drinking like this, which isn't normal for him. I'm not his mama and really shouldn't have to say anything, but after 5 days, it's more than enough. And we can't exactly tell him to go while he's drunk either. Or boot him out with nothing but an illegal vehicle. We can. But it would kinda go against our own personal rules. No unnecessary harm, no unnecessary drama, no unnecessary anger equals good karma. We're not hippies. We just firmly believe in putting out more positive than negative. I have no problems with him finding himself a woman either. I'm genuinely happy for him not to be alone. I even get along with her quite well when she's sober. But she's a mean and clumsy drunk. He's not mean, but he does get very loud and clumsy. Ugh. Out of the literal dozens of times the couch has been used, this has never happened. Every couch surfer has always been respectful of our rule and space until now. So how do I handle this and salvage the friendship? I don't want to come off holier than thou, patronizing, or outright rude. But our boundaries do need to be respected on our own property too. Ugh. Just UGH. Advice welcome. Edit. Kids are not being exposed to anything they haven't been exposed to at very young ages by their addict father. Also, they are nearly grown, and dome of the previous people helped were actually friends/classmates of theirs. So quit with the guilt trips about what my kids see, please. I'm not a total idiot. Just someone who couldn't see the situation for what it really is apparently. Update. I don't think I've ever seen such unanimous opinions. And you're right. This isn't okay in any way, shape, or form, and I'm enabling him at this point. We all sat down, first the kids, 15 and 17, my partner and myself. We talked about what happened. Neither kid noticed anything other than me being in a terrible mood this morning. OPV tends to do that to me. Other people's vomit. The kids trust our decision that we needed to have a serious chat with A, and that it may result in him leaving and likely being angry. Both kids promised to stay out of it and went for ice cream. We sat down with A and said flat out either the alcohol goes or he does. Starting immediately. I never saw him like that before. Like he just lost his best friend, cliché as it sounds. But he understands. He's gone to the back lot for the night to think about what his choice is. I think he's going back there to finish off his whiskey, but hope I'm wrong. I'll let it go for tonight only. I know what you're thinking. But this is the very last of last chances. If I find out tomorrow he did go back there to drink, we do have security cameras because, well, sometimes we need them. He won't be allowed back other than a short visit or barbecue. If he's sober. I don't want to look tonight. I literally can't do more of this today. I never even realized I broke my own rules. Thank you for pointing it out. Sincerely. I don't know how long I would have let it go on otherwise. Ugh. I haven't had such an ugh situation in a long time. He is not much of a friend. He has no respect for you or your home. He will not be grateful that you let him stay, only mad that you made him leave. No matter how long you let him stay. You should have already kicked him out after his behavior. The only advice the majority of PPL would give you is to give your friend the boot. He has absolutely zero respect, he broke your house rules multiple times, and he's the worst possible person to be around your children, too. He may be your friend, but he sure as fuck isn't theirs. Edit, as a kid, gotta love sharing your own house aka safe space with a drunk promiscuous asshat. Not. Tell him to GTFO ASAP. Your friend is an alcoholic and you need Al-Anon to learn to stop enabling. He has to go. Your children's safety and mental health are more important than a pretend friend. That's right, pretend friend. He obviously doesn't care about the friendship. Also, he's an adult. He is responsible for his own actions. Do not let him kick you out of your own family room. Bring the trailer back, throw the tent away, put his belongings in a bag, and leave them outside your door if he won't listen to reason. Have you not spoken to him about his unreasonable and inappropriate behavior? You have. What was his response? You can see where this is heading, so you need to protect yourself from feelings of guilt. You're a good friend, but don't be a doormat. Brother from another mother update. So, I no longer have a brother from another mother. I didn't update yesterday because, to be blunt, I was crushed. I don't have any extended family I can count on. Oh, was it, other than my partner and kids? When I checked the trail/security cam the yesterday morning, I saw a drinking all night long on the back lot. Ugly drinking, hitting trees, stumbling, yelling/crying. I'm glad my cams don't have audio because it looked brutal. I'd like to say he came to the house sober after he got it out of his system, but I found him passed out in vomit halfway to the back lot. People of Reddit, you're right. I can't help him at this point without compromising my own rules and family's safety. No unnecessary harm, no unnecessary anger, and no unnecessary drama. When we confronted him about the abuse of our hospitality, things got very ugly. We both said things that we shouldn't have. Or at least I did. I'm not sure if he's in any state to remember, let alone regret what he said. But I told him this wasn't the brother I knew and loved, and that I don't want this person in my life. I shouldn't have done that, or at least worded it more carefully. He replied that I never was his sister, that he just felt sorry for me as I'm just someone who was too stupid to see nobody else like them. I was useless, and only making people's lives worse. I'm a useless person who uses other people to make myself feel useful. There was more, but I'm not repeating it all. Bad enough I can't stop thinking about whether he's right. That was the crushing point. I can't do this, or put my family through this. Regardless of whether it's the liquor or him talking, you can't take that shit back. It's inexcusable to say that shit to someone you know is prone to severe depression and went through years of therapy to get those exact thoughts out of my head that were drilled into it by my abusive ex. I basically repeated every nasty thing he ever heard my ex say to me. As it is, it's right there all the time. Having him say it. I have an emergency therapy appointment set up for 3 days' time because I can feel those old feelings of death and not existing coming back. I hate that he just undid literal tears of therapy in under 15 minutes. The police took him away yesterday afternoon on a drunk and disorderly charge as he refused to leave on his own, and we couldn't let him leave in his vehicle when he could barely stand. Tomorrow his vehicle will be towed. We're done. Me, I'm wondering how much of what he said yesterday was truth, and how much was the liquor. I feel like I just lost my best friend, and it hurts so bad. My partner just admitted he feels the same way. He doesn't want to back here ever again due to what was said to me and the effect it had. He's furious that I would dare say any of that to me, knowing full well what I've been through. There's a lot to unpack here yet, obviously. My kids. who are nearly grown and, yeah, we are all in therapy due to their father being abusive towards me, and an addict most of their lives, so don't come at me over that. My family is my priority. I just didn't realize I was no longer part of that family until this all happened. They are taking it very well. Better than I am, anyways. They repeated back to me what I've said to them many times: you can only help someone who wants to be helped. They have their usual moments of idiocy, but then, obviously, so do I. As we all do. They're assuring me that it was the liquor talking, but they were too young to remember how bad it was when we left their dad. I hate this. Every piece of it. But you were all right. He wasn't my brother after everything that went down. Friends wouldn't put friends in that situation once, let alone for 5 days. Please forgive me for not saying thanks. While I'm grateful for the eye-opening advice, I can't quite bring myself to really appreciate it for what it was right now. Soon, I hope. Update. Hopefully the last one. Also posted in comments as I'm tired and posted there instead of here. It's not quite 8 a.m. here. The police dropped A off around 10 p.m. to pick up his vehicle, which was to be towed today. With our permission. I was sober and extremely apologetic. We've been talking half the night, and I'm just updating before I head, tiredly, to work. The problem wasn't just alcohol. The bastard was smoking crystal meth on my property. Purchased and brought here by her. I can't look at him the same way as I did before. I just can't. Not after what he did and said to me. My family supports my decision 100%. I doesn't remember any of it, or so he says, but when my partner told him what was said and done, I got very pale and just got up to go. I stopped him and asked him what that look was for. Because I've seen it before and it never ended well. Last time I saw that look, he ran his car off the road in what I suspect was a suicide attempt, but I never had the courage to ask. But now I realize that I'm not equipped to help him. He needs professional help, not a place to crash and spiral. He seems to genuinely regret everything. He won't be back here, though. Likely not ever. He did sleep on the couch last night, but it's the last time and was only allowed because he was sober, and it was 3 a.m. by the time we all finished talking. He just left for the very last time with a full belly and heavy heart. I'm going to miss the him he used to be. Very much. But I'm oddly okay with this, and I'm actually very glad we got to talk. It feels like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I felt so guilty I couldn't help him. Now I know for sure that it wasn't from lack of effort on my part. We all agreed, including the kids who were present, my partner weren't about to leave him alone with me again, that it's best if we part ways permanently because I can't look at him without hearing my ex's words out of his mouth. In my effed up head, he and my ex are now one and the same. They both evoke bad/harmful thought patterns better left forgotten. He did apologize and said there is no way he could have actually meant what he said because he knows better. But he admitted that it doesn't change the fact that he did say it to me. I'm worried the next time I hear from him it will be for a funeral. Likely his. But Reddit, you're right. It wouldn't be my doing, nor would it be my fault. He had his chance and literally vomited all over it and our relationship multiple times. The silver lining? My nearly grown kids, like me, are going to begin volunteering with the local AA and NA groups so we can learn more about how to better deal with any future situations. Last night was supposed to be our first meeting, but I showed up. I need to understand more about how substances can take over someone's life and make them into someone they never imagined they'd be. I'm trying to turn all this into a positive, and I don't doubt we will get there eventually. But right now, it's still pretty heavy and raw. I miss my brother. But I also understand now that his core problems are far more than I can handle. Onward and upward, I suppose. He said what he said because he's known you long enough to know what would really hurt you, and that's all he really wanted to do in his drunken state. It has nothing to do with the truth. It has only to do with wanting to be as mean-spirited as possible. I came to say exactly this. What he said wasn't true. He only said it because he was trying to hurt you. He knew your buttons and he was pushing them. Please don't take his words into your heart. You have a kind heart. Protect it. Hugs. I'm sorry this happened to you, OP. Unfortunately, a lot of times alcohol allows people's true feelings to come out, and it was really shitty of A to put all that on you. You are worthy, no matter what vile things he said to you. Worthy to be loved, worthy to be happy, worthy to live a beautiful life with your family. Mourn the loss of your relationship with A, and surround yourself in the comfort of your partner and kids. Take care of yourself. Hugs. Please don't take the opinion of an alcoholic with big issues to heart. His perspective is definitely skewed. He is looking in a funhouse mirror and mistaking it for reality. He may be jealous of your life and, most importantly, he doesn't want to take responsibility for his own life. I have seen this before. Everything that goes wrong in his life is going to be somebody else's fault. He is going to deflect until he hits bottom, then I'll probably start digging. You can't tell them, nobody can help him. He needs to decide for himself that he wants to work on his issues. No one can do that for him. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.